Welcome back to Master Data Management 1. In the previous video, you learned about the structure of the MDM workflow and reviewed the two main tabs used by the data steward. In this next video, you will learn how to configure the second source that we'll be using for our MDM solution, the Sfdc source. Before we move on, let's take a second to review the MDM lifecycle. We started by defining our MDM solution by creating our contact repository, setting up our model with fields and match rules, and created our sources. We then deployed our model to the contact repository and defined which sources we wanted to use for said model. We then attached our MySQL and Sfdc sources to that contact model. We synchronized our AtomSphere and MDM platforms by constructing a process to connect our source application, MySQL, to our MDM platform via the MDM connector shape. And finally, we ran a test via test mode in our AtomSphere platform and watched as the data flowed from our MySQL database into our contact repository. We located the execution within our reporting tab and went through the various options available to us via the steward tab, which resulted in the creation of several golden records. Now that we've loaded our most trusted information into our contact repository, it's time to identify a second source so you can see how easy it is to insert a new source into an MDM solution. So now it's time for me to demonstrate exercise 17, where I'll start by finishing the initial load for our MySQL source, and then I'll enable the initial load for our Sfdc source, which will prepare it to be synchronized with our AtomSphere process. So feel free to follow along in the activity guide, and you will have plenty of time to complete this exercise after the video ends. So now it's time for me to demonstrate exercise number 17, where I'm first going to finish the initial load for the MySQL source. I'll then enable the initial load for our Sfdc source for Salesforce, which will prepare it to be synchronized with our AtomSphere process. Feel free to follow along in the activity guide, and you will have plenty of time to complete this exercise after the video ends. So now I'm going to go ahead and hop over into our MDM platform. And we can start by making sure that we are on the repositories tab so that we all start in the same place. So if you click on that repositories tab, it'll bring you to this view of your MDM platform. From here, I need to navigate into the sources subtab within my repository. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my contact model. From here, I'm actually going to select my contact model from the list on the left side of the screen. And then I'll go ahead and click the Sources subtab at the top middle part of your screen, which will bring me to my list of sources that have been attached to my contact model. Since the initial load is now complete for the MySQL source, we're going to go ahead and click on the icon action button here. From here, I need to select my MySQL source and actually click on the actions icon over here on the left side of the actual source area. And what that will allow me to do is click on the Finish Initial Load selection here. And what you'll notice is as soon as you click it, it's going to start loading through here. Once again, we see that spinning icon, and the node will turn green. Green means that it is in a normal working order, and that the other channels available there are now opened up again. Next, what I need to do is start the initial load for my Sfdc source. So I'll do that by clicking on the Actions icon and selecting Enable Initial Load. As this loads up, you'll notice that the node turns blue, and then once this spinning icon ends, you'll know that your Sfdc source is ready to go for synchronization with your AtomSphere platform. So that's all there is for exercise number 17. So now it's your turn to go ahead and try it on your own, and once you've completed this exercise, feel free to start the next video.